Hi everyone, it's Sarah. I'm coming at you with another floss tube. It's been almost a month. I wanted to try to get this done before September is over, so I'm just barely squeezing it in there. I think I've been stitching like it's my job. I don't have one, so I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It's just kind of my kind of respite from everything else right now. So I've been, as much as I don't stitch in the summer, I guess September hit and I was like, oh, it's time to start stitching. So I have lots to show you, especially since it's been almost a month like I mentioned. I thought I would start by talking a little bit about myself as a stitcher, because I don't think I've done that in a while. I stitch fairly small projects for the most part. I do have a couple of Hades on the go. I don't work on them as much as I would probably like to. I like those kind of quick finishes. I'm also a fairly budget cross stitcher. I stitch a lot on, I don't do a lot of over-dyed anything. And in fact, I don't have any over-dyed flosses other than I have some, I've talked about this before, I have one skein of silk that I bought in like 2012 maybe. It says Crescent Colors on it to give you an idea of how old it is. And I still haven't stitched with it. It's a Belsoir. Yeah. And I bought it for a specific chart, and then I've just never stitched it, and I'm not even sure. I think it was from one of the Just Cross Stitch Christmas ornament issues. So yeah, I stitch a lot from Etsy patterns. I stitch a lot from magazines. I have a Readly subscription. Readly, I'll be showing you some of the projects I'm planning on working on in October from Readly, which is, you can get Just Cross Stitch, X Stitch magazine, Cross Stitch Crazy and Cross Stitch Gold are still on there, even though they're not doing publication anymore. World of Cross Stitching, Cross Stitcher magazine, which is one of my favorites. And there's a couple other ones. There's a German cross stitch magazine. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, there's some. I mean, it's everything. None of it is in English, but the patterns are patterns, and you can still probably figure it out. I think most of them have DMC flosses in use, so easy enough to find. And yeah, so there's just a plethora of stuff. Oh, some of the old antique, the sampler ones that Just Cross Stitch did, that they quit publishing in like 2015, 2016, something like that. There's a few of those on there too, like maybe a couple of years worth. So there's lots to choose from, and I have more bookmarked than I could possibly ever stitch in my life, but that's okay. It's a fairly inexpensive way to get patterns, and like I said, I enjoy small stitches, so it works really well for me. And in fact, you'll see that some of the stuff I have to show you today is from one or more of the magazines. Not more. I mean, everyone's only from one magazine. But yeah, I do stitch a lot from magazines. I buy a lot from Etsy. I do have some paper charts, especially ones, like I have a lot of old leaflets and books and stuff like that I bought like in the late 90s, early 2000s, where I was maybe not as a prolific a stitcher as I am now, but I probably before this time period when I was the most prolific at stitching. So yeah, I have some of that stuff left over from then. I've gotten rid of some stuff. We've moved a lot, so occasionally you just have to you have to let go of some stuff. And I stitch a lot of gifts. I haven't actually up until recently stitched a lot for just me, and I have a bunch of Christmas projects that in 2018 my family, I gifted them their choice of like a few patterns. For each person, I made up a sheet that had 5 or 6 different charts on it well, not charts, but just the pictures of the finished project that I thought would be fun to stitch, that I thought they would enjoy having that as a stitch. A lot of my family is into a lot of fandoms, so I picked a lot of stuff that dealt with their favorite fandoms, and have been working on that since 2018. I am not nearly as far along with that as I would like to be. Yeah, but I enjoy it, and at some point, maybe by next Christmas, I'll have a good chunk of them fully finished and ready to give them. But I've done a lot of gifts over the years. Most of my stitching has been gifts. I have kept hardly anything until like some Christmas ornaments and stuff like that. So until recently, and I've been stitching more and more for myself. So, and I might talk a little bit more about that in my plans too. So yeah, I am not against the idea of overdyed fabrics and flosses. I do have a few overdyed fabrics, I think, and I have stitched on overdyed fabrics. I definitely have some remnant pieces. I just haven't invested in it yet. I am really trying hard to get the full set of DMC, and so I'm getting close to the point where I will most likely just finish buying them, because I've got less than 100 to go, and I should be getting another order this week with about, I don't know, 15 or so of those in it. So at some point I'll just be like, it's time to just finish it up, and then maybe I'll start investing in some of the overdyed flosses. I have stitched with metallics, Krennic mostly, Petite Treasure Blade. Light Effects is the worst, so I don't. I think the one skein of that I bought, I threw away because it is terrible, and then I replaced it with Petite Treasure Braid. I think that is all documented in my FlossTube videos, my earlier FlossTube videos. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I do some larger projects, but I do tend to gravitate towards smaller projects and ones that I can easily get. I don't have an LNS that's close to me. The closest one is about 2 hours away, and it opened up just as the pandemic started, so I have not ever been there. So, bucket list thing for when things get back to normal. There is a cross-stitch store in Memphis that I have been to a couple of times, but that's 2.5 hours away, so I can't just go to the cross-stitch store. There has to be other reasons we're going to Memphis, which is not something we do often. If we're going to go somewhere, we're going to be more likely to go to St. Louis than Memphis. It's a little bit closer. But there are occasionally things that we need to go to. We specifically need to go to Memphis for. So then I'll try to hit the cross-stitch store there when we go. Following with using I have a tablet here that I'm using for my notes, and it's going to turn off from time to time probably. I'm also hoping to show you some of the, especially magazine charts and stuff that I'm planning on working on the tablet, so it'll cut down on my editing a little bit. See how that goes. So I'm going to start. We're going to show some projects now. I am going to start talking about the crazy domino effect event that happened at Semi-Sane Stitchers. I did the 100 stitch level, which meant you picked a project, you did 100 stitches on it, and then you linked it to another project that you did 200 stitches on, and then you continued linking until you had 10 projects, with the last one being 1,000 stitches. So I thought I would show what I used for that. There's a couple of finishes in with that, but I felt like it made more sense to do it this way. The first one, and everything is still in bags because I was afraid I'm going to have an avalanche anyway. I didn't want there to be like projects on the floor that I have to sort out because it's a mess. So the first one that I worked on was my 100 stitch level. Welcome. Please Leave by 9 by Banyana Stand. And this is one that I got a finish on. It's just a little small, like 5-inch circle. I think this is done on a piece of 6x6 Monaco 28 count. And yeah, I was, by the time I did my 100 stitches, I think I was already down in this area by the time I did it. So I was like, I might as well just go ahead and get that knocked out. So I finished that. And then my next thing, this is my 200 stitch level, I worked on 11 Doctors by Wee Little Stitches, and I connected them because it's all the doctors from Doctor Who. So here's what it looks like. I've talked about this before. I've moved the tortoise to this side, and then I have stitched up to, no, I've stitched up to, yeah, number 7, I think. And then we're going to try to figure out, I have to get with my mom. This is one of my Christmas, this is one of my Christmas gifts. This was for my sister. This one is for my mom. I need to figure out how far she wants me to go, because she has not watched all of the new series, but she has watched some of them. And she wasn't real sure yet where she wanted me to stop on it. There is a updated chart in the Wee Little Stitches shop that has more Doctors on it, but since I already had this, I just went ahead and used this. I bought this one actually years and years and years ago, like before we moved back to Missouri, so it would have been before 2013. And so here is where I got with that. So yeah, Doctor number 7. And his gray pants blend in a little bit, if you can see that. That is right on the piece there. So I may go in and backstitch those. I haven't decided. But I think that would probably, because if you look at it from back here, it just looks like he doesn't have a bottom half of his body. So I'll probably take some like dark gray. I may do the same with that one too. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that. So that was connected by time, because there's a clock in the first one, and then of course Doctor Who, or the Doctor, is a time board. And then next I connected Wee Little Stitches, because that the 11 Doctors piece, and this next one, which is, and I don't have any sort of cover photos or anything like this, but this is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So this was 200 stitches. So I finished up this night other than his crown, and then I started on the next one. This is a present for my husband. I bought this chart probably around the same time as I bought the other one, and I gave him the chart for Christmas and promised him that I would stitch it for him, and I failed. I stopped cross stitching and so finally, when I did everybody else's Christmas present, put that on my list of things that I wanted to start. This is on 14 count moss by Zweigart. So that was 300 stitches on that. The next one I connected because of Knights, and this is King Valiant's Castle by Clouds Factory. Let me see if I can find the cover sheet. So there's that. This is another Christmas present. This one is for my sister-in-law. And I gotta finish on this one. Let me see if I can pull it down a little bit. There we go. So yeah, there's Knights, a couple of Knights on this one, and of course Monty Python and the Holy Grail has Knights in it, so that was my connection. This was 400 stitches, and again, when I hit the 400 stitches, I just continued to a finish, because I was pretty close. I think I just had this Knight left, and maybe the tree and a cloud left, so I just went ahead and decided to throw in those last stitches. This is on a 14 count blue Ada that I got at Michael's. I think it was like the Loops and Threads brand. Next is Autumn's in the Air. And again, I can show you. This will be a good time to try out the tablet. Okay, I had a little goof, so I'm going to try this again. This is Autumn's in the Air by Faye Walsh. And then I'm just doing the top panel. So just where the little girl's walking the dog. And then there's a little fox. So I did 500 stitches, I believe, on this one. Let me go back to my notes. Yeah, this was my 500 stitch level. And this is stitched 1/1 on 32 count full cross. And I finished this tree, did this, and then did this whole tree. This is, I connected this by trees because King Valiant's castle had the tree sitting next to the castle. And then, yeah, I love it. It's going to be super cute. Super, super cute. Next was Mushroom House. This is by Ekaterina Chaykovskaya. No, that's not right. Chaykovskaya. I got this off my bobbin. This is what the finished piece will look like. This was my 600 stitch thing, and I connected it by mushrooms because if you notice, there was a little mushroom. I stitched one, and I think there's another little mushroom as you go down further. And I did quite a bit on this. I got a lot of the half stitches in, which obviously count for like a half a stitch when you do your stitch count. But I got this right here, that part of the mushroom done, and then a lot of the half stitches around here. I think I worked on this flower or some, or this flower. Maybe it was this flower. So yeah, I love this. I am maybe about a quarter of the way down. I think this is pretty close to the halfway point. And then it's a big oval. So this is stitched on 28 count even weave. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. I think it was part of the Artiste brand, and I just knocked this. Oh goodness, talented today, I tell ya. So there's that. And then for my next one, I did Sleepy Kitten. This is Claire Comerford. This is another magazine piece. Now I do have a little bit of a cover photo, so I don't have to try to go to my tablet for that. This is from World of Cross Stitching, February 2016. Oh, the Faye Walsh piece, the Autumn's in the Air, that was from Cross Stitcher, September 2019, in case you're looking for this, for that one. So this is World of Cross Stitching, February 2016. And I connected this because of flowers. There were some flowers with the yellow centers in the Mushroom House piece. And so this one I connected out. You can tell there's daisies everywhere. I've done all the back stitch up here, but I still need to do back stitch here and on the vase. But you can see a little bit of the cat's tail. Now this is mainly, I worked in this area here, and then the cat's tail and a little bit of the teacup. So you can start to see the cat's tail there. This is going to be so pretty when it's done. This is for my sister-in-law. This is for my husband's sister. I'm really enjoying that too. And then I connected this next one with the cat because there's a cat on this one. This is Halloween Quaker by Sandman Originals. And I don't have a cover photo. This is a freebie off of Cyber Stitchers. So there that is. I had 800 stitches to do on this one for the event. I finished those stitches and then I put it up, but then yesterday after I finished my last project for the event, I went back and I finished, and I just had the 31 to do, the border here, and then the cat's whiskers. So I decided that I was going to finish that up before I went to bed and have 2 finishes for yesterday. So that's always exciting. And then I connected that because this is a Halloween piece. This next one is called Happy Owl-o-Ween, so it is also a Halloween piece. This is what the finished piece will look like. It is by Breanne Jackson. This was in the Halloween 2015 Just Cross Stitch not ornament issue. It's Christmas. This was just in the Just Cross Stitch Halloween special issue. And I think this is thick enough. I can probably just, no, let me go ahead. Give some stability to it if nothing else. Finished up the pirate owl I had. Just basically the bottom here, and then this arm I think left to go. And then I started in on the pumpkin owl. This will be, all of this is fill in, all of this is fill in. I have to do the beak, the feet, and then once I have the black of the eyes, all of that is just white fill in. So this will be a great project to take if we end up having to drive somewhere, because I don't have to really count anything or worry about color or what goes where. It's just take a skein of floss and finish that up. So that was 900 stitches. And then next, let me pull up Readly again. This is from this year's October issue of Just Cross Stitch. Getting a little bit more glare there now. Okay, so it's called Sleepy Owls. It's by Elizabeth Spurlock. And this was for my 1,000 stitch level. Obviously, this is connected by owls. And once I hit, I have so much stuff on this table, it's just going to topple all over. I'm fairly certain of it. Once I finished the 1,000 stitches, I was into this owl right here, I believe. So I went ahead and, if not, I was real close to being to that owl. I went ahead, there's, just so you know, 1,405 stitches in this entire thing. So once I hit my 1,000 stitches, I went ahead and finished that as well. And that was yesterday. So that is Crazy Domino Effect. That is an event that was in semi-stained stitches. I enjoyed that so much. It really pushed me to spend some more time on some of my projects, because I'll put a couple hundred stitches in something and then put it up and go to something else. To spend 1,000 stitches at a time on a project is not something that I typically do. And then this took me, I think, 3 days of stitching, something like that. Obviously not full days or anything like that, but yeah, I spent a fair amount of time on it over the past 3 days, and I love it. I think I'm going to do a pillow finish on that one. I haven't decided yet. At some point I will actually finish some of this stuff, possibly. So yeah, that was that. I do have a couple of other finishes I'll go ahead and share with you. I finished, thought I had this right on top, but apparently. This is Self-Isolating Bat by Spirit Night Studio. I changed the colors. It was originally charted in reds for the flowers, but I changed it to purples. It was $5.50, oh my gosh, $5.53 maybe. I'm not 100% sure of that. And $3.18 for the colors. It is on my Instagram. At least when I started it, I put the colors that I used down there. I will link my Instagram in the description box below if you're interested in following me on Instagram. And then Rejoicing Reindeer. This was my Alphabet Soup R piece for semi-stained stitchers. So I did that. I had an S for that too, and I can't remember which one I did for my S. I may have worked on Sleepy Kitten for that as well, but I don't think I did. I may be missing a project here. If I can maybe look it up here in a second and see. But yeah, Rejoicing Reindeer. This is by Blue Ribbon Designs. This is from the 2020 Just Cross Stitch ornament issue. And I think it's cute. I didn't finish it during the 2-week period that it was the letter, but I finished it afterwards because I wanted it done. And then my other finish is in here somewhere. So I think I had 7 finishes for September, which is pretty amazing, even though a lot of them were pretty close to being finished. This is from the Cooler Christmas Designs, 555 Christmas Designs. I've shared it with you here before. This is a little hedgehog in a Christmas hat. This is stitched on just a remnant of fabric that I had left from when I bought a bunch of remnants of fabric at a store that used to be in St. Louis many years ago. I bought these like in 2000. We moved away from St. Louis in 2009, so it would have been before then. that I bought all of these remnants of fabric. I did not enjoy stitching on it at all, so I'm glad that is done. But yeah, so that was my last finish, I believe, for September. Okay, and then I guess I have a couple of works in progress that I have not shared. Most of my focus went to the semi-sane Stitchers Crazy Domino Effect. This is another one of the ornaments from the Donna Cooler's 555 Christmas cross stitch designs. I have messed up all of the counts on this. Like I have so many mistakes in this, but I've just decided I'm going to go ahead and make it work. So I have just a little bit of greenery left to do around, I think, this side and down at the bottom, and then back stitching. So this is an October goal, is to get this finished. And then my other thing that I worked on, and I just worked on this a very, very little bit because it's in the same bag as my Happy Halloween pieces. So whenever I finished my stitches on that, I just went ahead and grabbed this out and did a little bit more on that. This is I think it's just Thanksgiving freebie. That was a freebie that was given out last year by Twin Peak Primitives on their Instagram account. And I'm thinking about taking like a deep green and going over the vines and the stem with a green because that's surely not showing up. I'm okay with it in the pumpkin part, but it's not showing up. I just did those first few letters of Thanksgiving, and I think I already had the H stitch, so it was really just the T and then the end of that. So and I'm just doing, as you can tell, I don't have enough space for everything that's in that freebie. If you're familiar with the freebie, there's some like almost grape type things down here, and there's a couple of motifs up here. I'm just doing the two turkeys because there's a mirror image of this turkey on this side and the Thanksgiving, and then I'll be done with that. So I would also like to finish that in October. We'll see. Okay. So next, I guess I have acquisitions. So, and I have a lot for me. I went to Hobby Lobby earlier this month because I had forgot to order a floss that I need for one of my projects that I'm planning on working on in October. So I had to go to town with my husband. He needed to go to run an errand, so I was like, well, I'll just go to Hobby Lobby and pick up that skein of floss. I also picked up some more felt for my floss books, and I'll show you what one, because I actually just have one pulled out here. I use the 2mm felt, so it's got the thicker pages, and then I just create these. I basically just sew a piece of quilting fabric to a piece of felt, and then I just do a pamphlet stitch and put cardstock, or I have done some where I've done page protectors. I really like that. But yeah, I just label all of my flosses that I need for a project, and I think this is the Mushroom House one. So I just, because I keep basically a master set of DMC, I just basically keep all of my floss for each project. I'll pull out just one length of floss. I cut each skein of floss into 8 equal pieces, and when I'm working on a project, I use the loop method. So if I'm using 2 strands, I just fold it over and use that. If I need to do a blended color, or I'm doing back stitching, or if I'm using, because I do have some projects that I'm only doing 1 strand of floss, I'll cut it in half, and that works really well for me because I can just pull. I don't want to buy 4 different 3799s if I only need a couple of strands for each project. So this allows me to keep the floss color with the project without having a whole skein. And it works really, really well for me. I've been real happy with it. Okay, this is just going to be a choppy video. I am sorry about that. I realized that I didn't grab one of the things I had bought, so I have that now. But next I have also got this at Hobby Lobby. Ooh, there's some major glare, but it's just some perforated paper, white, that I got at Hobby Lobby. I have Owl Forest on their website has some freebie patterns, so I'm either going to do that on this, that I think it's one of their oldest freebie patterns, if not their oldest ones. And then I'm either going to do that, or there's some magazine like Animals and Sweaters, pretty similar to that I might do. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I was looking for this online and it seemed like everybody was sold out. So when I was in Hobby Lobby and I saw they had it there, I went ahead and snatched it up. Okay, and this is what I had forgot to grab. I wanted some smaller, so like this size right here, and smaller for like the ornaments, and the real small, like the Be Well and Stitch. That self-isolating bed I didn't mention was part of that Be Well and Stitch movement, I guess. Hashtag that started when we started like shelter at home, shelter in place orders and all of that. So I wanted some smaller bags to do some of those, to keep what I'm currently working on in those. Because if you look, let me show you. So this is all of my Be Well and Stitch stuff that I had started that I still need to finish. So I just want to grab out the one I'm working on, grab out the flosses, put it into a smaller size bag. So I don't need a bunch of them. So I found this multi-pack that uses, it has like, I mean, it has teeny tiny ones that I'm not sure I have a use for, but my daughter has told me that she'll be happy to take them off my hands. I think this is probably, let me open this real quick. This is probably the smallest I would use for a cross stitch project. I could use these for like floss or stuff like that, because you could definitely, I could see putting some floss in there and maybe just sticking it in a bigger one, like if you're using overdyes or whatever, where I'm not as worried about having multiple projects using the same color. I could use those for that. It also has the A4 size, which is the size I use the most, and it has, is it A5? Is it B? I don't know. But these bigger ones that I use for my hates and stuff. So it felt like the best way to get a few of the small bags, and then I needed a few more bigger bags, because I do need to do some organizing and try to sort through some of that stuff. I'm gonna have an avalanche here, I'm pretty sure of it. Okay, next thing that I purchased is from 123 Stitch. I needed some Petite Treasure braid for the crowns and some of the accents and stuff in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It calls for light effects. I will not use light effects, so I just tried to find kind of a antique gold color. I think it actually says the name of it on here. It just says PB35. But yeah, I think that'll be pretty for the crowns. I gotta figure out where to put it. And then I also got a piece of just white 40 count linen. And this I will be, I think my plan is New Year, New Start. I want to start the new normal by Long Dog Sampler. Ooh, let me see if I can pull that up so you can see that one. I love this one. Let me see. I should actually, let me do a quick search. I know this is exciting, but I didn't think to have this one loaded up. But this one's really pretty. And then I think I'm just going to use one of the variegated DMC flosses for it. I had thought about trying to order some silk. I was looking at some Mrs. Sadis stuff, but I think by the time I ordered it and it got here, I would be pushing it. We had my husband ordered something from Spain in May, and it just got here last week, something like that. So it's possible that that was a weird exception, but I don't want to count on getting something from overseas in 3 months. So I think I'm just gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with one of the variegated DMCs for it. But yeah, I'm gonna pick this. I got this to use for this, and I do think it's gonna be why is it not loading? There we go. So, ooh. So this is what it looks like. I am going to purchase the PDF of it. I do not have it yet, but this is on my list of things that I need in my life. So this will be a purchase sooner rather than later, and that will be a new year, new start. So I have the fabric for it ready to go, and next time I'm in St. Louis, I'll head up to Michael's and look at all the variegated flosses there and see which one I like the best. Let me put that back. Next, I want to talk about, I've talked about her before, but I have made multiple orders from her this past month. I told my sister-in-law I'm spending money like I have some, which is kind of funny. But I've been ordering a little bit from Cross Stitching Supplies because she's been super fast at getting stuff out. Like I've ordered and had it like shipped almost always the next day. I think there was one time where she actually shipped the same day. So I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about her and her company, and just how fantastic it's been to order from her. She's in Indiana, which is only a couple of states over from me. So most of these I've gotten within like 3 days after it was shipped. One of them I kept going back and forth between the distribution center and not the distribution center. Like it went back and forth like 4 times. I'm not sure what was happening there, but for the most part, it gets here real quick. So first of all, she packs up your order in one of these bags usually. And so I have one more thing to show you before I show you all of the fabric that I bought, is when she ordered quite a bit of DMC just for different projects and stuff that I have that I'm planning on starting. She connects them using a length of embroidery floss in numerical order, so that when you're organizing, you just untie the floss, and then they're all already in numerical order. You don't have to sort them, and you can put them in your storage system that way. So I thought this is the first time I've ordered floss from her. Either it's the first time I've ordered floss from her, or it's the first time she's done this. I actually have another order probably coming tomorrow. It's showing that it should be here tomorrow, that has more floss in it. So it'll be interesting to see if that also has this. I'm assuming this is a new thing that she's doing. That is fantastic, because then when I'm ready to put it into my floss bags, I can just untie this, and I need to do that. But I wanted to show you this before I actually organize them. So, and then there's my purple that I got from Hobby Lobby for one of my September plans. Okay, and now the fabric. So when she sends you a piece of fabric, she sends it in its own Ziploc bag. So I ordered like 4 or 5 pieces. So you could just slide your pattern down in here, slide your flosses down here and here, and have a little project bag ready to go. And then she labels it. It's a Zweigart fabric, it's pewter, it's 16 count Aida, and it is 10 by 17. Is that right? Yeah. So it's all easy to sort through. I ordered these 3 with those flosses. I ordered these 3 pieces of fabric, all 16 count Aida. So there was the pewter, the ice blue, and then a platinum. And the reason I ordered these is I have charted a pattern for my daughter, mainly for my daughter, but that are going to use these 3 flosses. So these are all étoile. You can kind of, I think if I get close enough to it, you can kind of see the sparkle. And so these are the colors that are going to be in the project that I'm doing for my daughter. So I didn't really, the gray blended in too much with the pewter, which I thought might be a possibility, but I thought I'd order it. I can always find something else to use it for. And she just did not like that color at all. And there you can see I started it, and we just didn't like the way it looked on the platinum. It would have been fine. I mean, like all of the colors would have shown up, but didn't like the look of it. So I had to make another order, right? I mean, that's what you do, because I've been promising. So I ordered, I think, yeah, let me I have these out of order a little bit. I ordered this light gray. This is Silver Moon Linen. Also by Zweigart. This is 32 count because I wanted to keep with that 16 count thing. And then Purple Passion Linen. And so, again, the gray on the purple really kind of blended in. I did some test stitching. And then, so far, this one is the winner. Because you can kind of see it. I'm not taking anything out of the bags. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I wanted to do a little bit of test stitching. And then, also when I ordered that, I've talked about the Prairie Schooler Santas, which I did not work on mine at all this past month, but I wanted to do them in different counts of Ada on in different shades of brown. So I also got 18 count, I can't ever remember, Nougat or Stone Gray. These are also all Zweigarts. 16 count Dirty Ada. And a 14 count Beige Ada. So I think for sure on the 18 count I'll be able to get 2 Santas off that one. I think both the 18 and 16, if I figured it out, I'll only get one. But that's okay, because these are only like a couple of dollars a piece. So after that, she has a thing where she asks for like suggestions of things you'd like to see in the shop. And I knew that I needed to order that. I had just ordered that metallic from 123 Stitch, and I said it sure would be nice if she carried some metallic. So I just sent her a suggestion, and I said, you know, would you consider carrying, she carries Light Effects, which we've talked about, and I said, would you consider carrying other metallics? And she got back to me, and she says it is something that she is hoping to be able to do. She's still new. I don't think she's been in business, but maybe a year. So it's something that she's hoping to do next year. And then as a thank you for giving her the suggestion, she sent me a $5 gift card. Gift certificate. So I told my husband about it, and he's like, well, you should make another order. So I mean, who am I to say no, right? So I bought a piece of 18 count doubloon by Picture This Plus, which I'm gonna find something fun to stitch on that. This is just an 8 by 12. And then I got 13 by 17 pieces of a 32 count slate blue Lugana and a 28 count Springfield Sage. Now I showed these to my daughter, and she wants me to do a test stitch on this just to see how those colors will look on this, because this is a really, it is definitely not going to come through, but it is a kind of a mossy green, or sage, I guess. So yeah, and then I ordered a piece of 25 count white, just plain white Lugana, because, was it August, I want to say, Michelle at Heaven and Earth Designs did a bunch of freebies on her Facebook, and this was one of them, so I got a piece big enough to do that. Don't know when I'll start it, but I have the fabric for it, so it'll just go in a project bag and be ready when I'm ready to start it. And yeah, that's a lot for me. And like I said, I have another order because I needed more flosses for some of the projects that I'm planning on for September. So I ordered the flosses, and then I ordered like 4 more pieces of fabric, because I like to, you know, I mean, first of all, she does free shipping at $15, so there's no reason not to at least order $15 worth of stuff, in my opinion. I ended up ordering a little bit more than that, but it's okay too. And yeah, I'm excited about, oh, and there's the avalanche. I know there's just so much stuff, and I have I can only reach so far. This is like an oval table, so I only have like a couple of feet either way, and it's gonna be a problem. So now that everything's on this side, I'm gonna move my tablet over here and pull my notes back up and talk about my plans a little bit. And I don't want to forget any of this. So semi-stain stitchers, I've been having a blast, and this was one of my mania pieces. So for Alphabet Soup Tea, I'm going to do Giggly Wiggly's Penguin by the Trilogy, because the Trilogy starts with a T. This was my huge start, my just ginormous start that I managed for Mania. Are you ready? Can you handle yourself? There we go. So like one penguin back. That's all I have. So this actually started last week. I have not, because I was so focused on trying to get the crazy domino effect done. I did not pick this up, but this will be something that I'll work on until the U prompt starts. For you, this is going to be another magazine piece. And this one is an Ursula Michael design, so that works for my U. And let me this is called Boo. It is from the 2016 Just Cross Stitch Halloween issue. And this is one of the things I have fabric coming for. I have a piece of either 28 or 32 count white even weave coming for this. So yeah, I think that's super cute. And then for V, this is another one of my Christmas stitches. This one's for my brother. And again, I don't have a huge start on it. This is You Can Certainly Try by Vale Stitchery. And this is on 32 count. I've lost my little piece of white backing, so it's buried somewhere. But yeah, that is what I have got done, is just basically the very, very beginning of the crest on his head. So I'm excited to put some more stitches in on that. This is Stormy Night, I believe, by Zweigart, 32 count, and I'm stitching it with Anchor Black because I wanted to see how the coverage was. I've heard so many things that says the coverage is better, so I wanted to test that out. Okay, and then semi-sane. Almost all of my plans are around semi-sane stitchers. They're doing one called Halloween Treats, which is just to work on a Halloween piece or a spooky piece or one that scares you. So I guess if there's a lot of specialty stitches or something like that, you could use that as well. Stitchonomy has a Halloween sale that is starting tomorrow. I have the frame. That is my plan to work on today, is to try to get the top of the frame done so that tomorrow, when because it's a 31-day sale, and they're just like little, like 10 by 10 blocks, something like that. Maybe 20 by 20 blocks, that there's a piece every day that fits into one of those blocks. So that is my hope, is to get at least the top part of the frame stitched up so that by tomorrow, whenever the new one comes out, I'm ready to go ahead and stitch that up. I'm hoping that they only take a couple hours each. We'll see. We'll see how that works. It may or may not be a thing that I work on every day, but I'm going to try and see how that goes. And then they also have one called Halloween Town. I'm not really sure what that is, but I've gone ahead and joined the group, so I will find out. It sounds like it's a little bit of like a choose your own adventure, and there's like reading involved, and there's been hints that Jack Sparrow is involved. So, but that is all I know. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes as well. I'm always excited to try something new and to do something different. And then there is a newish Facebook group called Magazine Monthly Challenge. And as we've talked about, I like to stitch a lot out of magazines. And I missed September. I didn't learn about it until last week. I was watching Erin, Two Martini Stitcher, and she talked about it. And I was like, well, I stitch from magazines. I should go check this out. And so every month, and like I said, I missed September. September was their first month. But every month they put kind of a prompt for you to stitch from. So because it's October, spooky is their prompt for October. I think September's was just a fall themed piece. So I have decided, and they also do an acrostic. So I have decided that I am going to stitch smalls for the acrostic, things that I can finish in the month. For the themed piece, I'm going to stitch stuff that is maybe larger, that maybe I won't be able to finish in the month. I'm hoping this month I'll be able to finish my selection for that. So my first one is from the World of Cross Stitch. Sorry, World of Cross Stitching. Let me pull up my list because I think I have them all listed. I do not. And I don't have Facebook on my tablet, so I can't look at what I actually put in the event. So it is from the world of cross stitching. I don't know what issue, because they don't make that apparent on just the front. This is by Historical Sampler Company, and so this is the spooky piece, and I just love it. So I think that's going to be stitched on that piece of platinum Ada that I have, that I had bought, that I just showed you. So because I don't think there's any quarter stitches or anything like that, and I think it'll fit on there. And then next, I can get this to behave. Trying to remember what the acrostic was, but I can show you the pieces. They all fit. So this one is called Scary Night. It is by Glory B. And again, one I'm excited to stitch. So this one is right at 100 by 100. So this is definitely on the big side of a small. And probably, but it's, I think the alphabet will stitch up real quick. And there's big blocks of colors, and there's not a lot of colors. This is charted with overdyed. I will be using just DMC conversions. Whatever. They have conversions listed in the magazine. This is from Halloween 2014, just cross stitch. And then next one is Harlequin Pumpkin Witch by Pinochka. I don't know how you pronounce her name. I favorited her Etsy shop. She's got a lot of really, really cool stuff in it. So the problem with showing on my tablet is that it wants to show the chart. So I'm going to have to blur that out, or there may be a blip. So if you saw a blip, it's because I accidentally showed the chart and all that. So yeah, Harlequin Witch. I love her. She is so freaking adorable. Harlequin Pumpkin Witch, sorry. From the October 2018 just cross stitch. And then, and most of these are going to be just cross stitch because, why not? Next one is Alan Bats. This is also by Pinochka. And this one is from October 2020, just cross stitch. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite of them. I cannot wait to stitch this. And I have a small piece of Haunted by Picture This Plus that doesn't have a lot of the varied colors in it. It's mostly gray, so I think it'll work really well for that. And then I have two more. This one is Witchy Cat by the Stitcher Hood. And this is from the October 2015 just cross stitch. And oh my goodness, that right there, I love him. And he's going to stitch up really quick. And then the last one is Mosaic Halloween by Twisted Willow Designs. A lot of the people in the group use this one, stitched this one in September, so it's been pretty popular. I just lost it. Let's see. Gosh, isn't that fantastic? I'm so excited. I mean, I'm really happy with all of the ones that I've picked. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 6. 6 for the Magazine Monthly Challenge, and then the one Ursula Michael design from magazines that I'm hoping to both start and finish next month. Not to mention the Halloween sale. I am probably overestimating myself and underestimating how much time it's all going to take. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a challenge at any rate. So if I can, my thought is that if I can work on the smalls and just do one after the other and then have the bigger piece going on throughout the month, maybe I'll be able to get them all done. If not, at least I've got a good start, and I've got a few of them finished probably, because like I said, some of those are going to go pretty fast. I may save the Scary Night one, this one right here. I may save that until last, because that one may take me a bit, and I wanted to change over. So I want to not give myself reason to do that until the end. And yeah, I think that is everything. I did not bring a game today because I had so much stuff piled up that I was really afraid that I wasn't going to have room to set out components and pull them out and talk about them and all of that. But hopefully next time I won't wait a month and I'll have a little bit less stuff surrounding me. We'll see. So yeah, that is my floss tip for today. And thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.